Hey guys, welcome to Approach Metal Music's YouTube channel with your host Leon, and we are here with the brilliant Hot Blooded Reptiles. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, my pleasure. So, guys, could you introduce yourselves and what you do within the band?
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Godzilla. I'm the lead vocalist, and I also play the bass. Um, that's basically it.
I go next. I'm
Yeah,
Alan McGeady. Um, I'm the guitarist in the band, and sometimes I try and put in some backing vocals.
sometimes
but
helps if you put your microphone on, Alan.
yeah, well, true.
Yeah, my name's Finn, and I play drums. And yeah, occasionally try and do a few backing vocals here and there.
Cool. So let's dive into some questions. As kids, what were you listening to?
Who wants to go first?
But I don't mind. I can go.
Why don't you go, Finn?
Me, it was a lot of classic rock from 60s and 70s, like Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd, stuff like that, really, that inspired me to pick up the drums. And then, yeah, that sort of just continued, really. There's so many genres to name these days, but I listen to a whole varied bunch of stuff, to be quite honest, and just pick up lots of ideas to put into our music, and yeah, that's what I try and get inspired by, new sounds.
Do you want to go?
On you go, Alan. Come on.
Okay. For me, I think what bands, probably the earliest I can remember, I have an older brother. He's about 4 years older, so he would have been listening to bands like AC/DC, Tin Lizzy, Stiff Little Fingers, all punk, and then started to listen to things like Iron Maiden, um, all the way through, like Black Sabbath, then probably a lot in between, but then probably Guns N' Roses. That was probably in the first album I ever bought was Appetite for Destruction. I think it was 1988, and I couldn't see past that for a few years. And then one of my friends got me to listen to Metallica, and like I was blown away by that then, because it was a different level, and I got lost in that for a few years. I was in lots of bands playing things like Black Sabbath and Sex Pistols and all that, but then we started playing Metallica, then there was Slayer, Sepultura, Megadeth, and then I had Pantera, and that totally changed it. Then I got way into that kind of like really powerful music, and I was in a band at the time, and they were more into more grunge stuff like Nirvana and Pearl Jam, and used to play that. And that's probably, I've been traveling a little while after that and moved away, so I kind of got lost for a few years. And that's probably what who I took my inspiration from.
My turn.
Yep.
Jeepers. Well, I think music's always been a huge thing for me growing up, especially because my mum and dad, they used to have a lot of big record collection, you know. So when we were kids, we used to always play with our records. You know, we were always just putting all these things on, just anything from the 60s and 70s, and of course, growing up in the 80s. So I had all like the pop tunes and the rock tunes and country, you name it, just any kind of music that was popular. My parents listened to. So my dad was big on like the Beatles and ABBA and things like that, and the Shadows. Whereas my mum, she was into Elvis Presley and Status Quo and lots of other stuff. So I grew up with that kind of stuff, just quite a wide range. But obviously, as you get older, you start to listen to your own kind of things. Of course, with me being the youngest as well, I listened to like my brother and sister's music. They were into all the chart music and stuff, all the dance music and things. And then when I became a teenager, I started finding my own way, and I started listening to my own stuff. Things like Nirvana, Motorhead was a big thing for big. They were huge for me. Saxon, Judas Priest, another two. There were two. There were three. My favourite metal bands that I liked to start with. Before I started to listen to like thrash metal and stuff, you know, all the faster stuff, you know. But yeah, they were the big kind of influences for me. But obviously, I mean, I grew up with a lot of pop music as well, so I've got that background, you know, like Phil Collins and things like that. You know, I was quite inspired by him a little bit vocally, I think, to want to sing. Billy Idol as well is another one of my favourite vocalists. But I mean, I've got quite a wide taste in music. I can listen to like just the most random things. So it's there's a mash of everything all in my songs, you know, that I come up with. So it's hard to really say exactly this or that, you know, because you know the older you get, the more stuff you've got compacted in your brain. You know, all these different styles of music and different singers and different songs, you know. But yeah, I think it's a bit of everything. Yeah, rock music's my favourite music, I would say, though. For everything.
Cool. So you did say that your parents got you into sort of like listening to music. Well, was there any other people that got you sort of like, oh, check this band out, or check this band out, or check that band out?
No, I mean, it's hard to really say. I mean, it just I was always music playing in my parents' house. You know, I was always records on. My mum always had records on, and we used to, as I say, we used to play with them as well. And so I was always some kind of music in the background. So yeah, it's kind of hard to say really. If that answers your question, I don't know. But once you become a teenager and you hang out with certain people, they're like, oh, they've heard this band, I suppose, you know. It's like you hear music from your friends and things, you know. Or if you start going to like rock nights or something, you hear stuff that you'd never heard before. Yeah, so.
Cool. So, out of all the bands that you've listened to over the years, who was there one specific band, or was there several different bands that influenced you to say, I want to do this, I want to get up on stage, I want to perform?
Well, I think when I got into heavy metal as a teenager, I was like, yes, I want to go have a go at this, you know. Like Alan, I was listening to like Guns N' Roses as well. They were one of the bands I was listening to quite a lot when I was a teenager. So I think they were probably quite a big influence to start with. But initially, I wanted to be a guitarist. You know, I tried on and off for years, but I was absolutely crap at it. So eventually, I discovered the bass, and that was much easier. I can't play chords. It's just notes is much easier for me. So I like to keep things simple.
For me, when I was a kid, probably about 10 or 11, I used to hang around in the practice rooms. It was like a youth hostel kind of place as well. So all the bands would be there, and you know, we'd be kids hanging around, dying to get in, get a go with our guitars, a go with the drums. So you know, I always just wanted to, you know, play guitar through a big amp. You know?
Yeah, I suppose growing up and just being surrounded by music from a young age from my parents. And then the first gig I went to was actually Motorhead when I was 14. And I think that sort of just really kick-started that I want to do this. This is something I aspired to be like, be on stage. And when you can really feel the music because it's so loud. And then I just wanted to join a band. And then a lot of yeah, music would just be inspired to me from other bandmates and people in that sphere of music, really.
Cool. Cool. So, were you in any bands prior to Hot Blooded Reptiles?
Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I mean, my first band, I was 16. And that was a grunge band, mainly inspired by Nirvana. Then I moved away from home and played in a lot of sort of indie rock bands, alternative, maybe could even be classified as psychedelic. And yeah, then been in Scotland, and Hot Blooded Reptiles was the first band I joined. So that's sort of been my journey so far.
Me, I've been in bands since I was about 12 or 13. You know, always chopping and changing from punk bands to heavy metal bands and grunge bands, and oh, most of it, all through definitely my teens. I was always in a band, but I kind of moved away and kind of stopped. I carried a guitar around me for about 10 years without playing it. But then came to Scotland. It was a bit, because I'm from Ireland, was a bit bored at work. Looked up ads for people looking for band members and joined a cover band. That was with Gordon. It was probably 10 years ago. And then we were playing a cover band, and it developed into Hot Blooded Reptiles.
Yeah. When I was a teenager, I tried to form a band with my mates, writing our own music, and it never really happened. To be honest, it never got much further than the living room or the bedroom. It was one of the bedroom bands. But a few years passed, and I decided to take up the music again. I'd always been kind of writing music since I was a teenager, just on and off. So it never really left me. It's just it just came around at the right time, I think. So once I decided I wanted to play bass, because I was looking for a hobby, and I decided to try and take up bass. And I decided to audition for a band, and basically I'd learned like 7 songs in a week, and then they cancelled the audition. So I was like, oh, what am I going to do now? So I was like, well, so that I'm just going to start my own band. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? So I went to meet this drummer, and we started jamming, and then I started putting out adverts to make a full band. And that's when Alan, he joined us, and so we were in a cover band for quite a while.
Classic rock music.
Yeah, classic rock covers. We were called Rock Angel. That was our name. And then basically, eventually, I'd kind of, one day I was in the car and I was sampling, I was trying to sing the Ace of Spades by Motorhead, and I thought, that's pretty cool. I just fancied a go at it for some reason, as you do. And I kind of found my rock voice, and I kind of thought to myself, I reminded myself when Billy Idol a little bit, and Rebel Yell, the song Rebel Yell, and I was like, oh, it kind of sounds a bit more like that. So I said to myself, I'm gonna try singing that for fun, and I quite enjoyed it. So I said to the band, how would you feel about me singing a song, And the singer, she was like, oh, okay, no problem. And so once I got a taste of that, it was like, this is actually much better than playing the bass. The whole adrenaline buzz, just singing on the stage, So I kind of decided I wanted to be a singer after that. So that's how I kind of started down that path. So basically, the band kind of split into 2, and me and Alan, we went our own way, and we started another cover band, and eventually, after several drummers, we decided to call it a day. Because we had quite a lot of bad luck with drummers, ridiculous bad luck. So we just decided to start our own thing, decided to do some original music. And here we are today.
And when I was playing in bands when I was younger, playing like after playing gigs, you'd really have the adrenaline. I spent years thinking, why did I ever stop that? Always niggling at me saying, I want to do that again. I want to do that again. And after about 10 years, just to get back to that, I really needed it. Really needed it.
Yeah. I remember how nervous Alan was when he came to audition for us.
Yeah.
He couldn't play a single thing. It was.
That's just not true now.
He was like, I'll be better next time. I'll be better next time, he said.
Cool.
He was much better.
Cool. We've got a question from Lisaboo. She asks, how did you come up with the band's name?
Oh, it took a long time. Yeah, it took a long time. We were trying to think of names that weren't taken already, that were catchy, because so many names that we had before were cover bands. You would hear them; they would just go in one ear and out the other, like Granite Rock, Rock this, Rock, But it was Gordon that came up with it.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
I can't really remember, to be honest. I like reptiles, so it's probably something to do with that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he used to have reptiles.
I just like the whole. Whenever I came up with a name, I must have just liked it. I don't know. There's a bit of a sense of humour to the name. I think it's not too serious. It's just kind of tongue in cheek kind of thing. I don't know. And it's easy to remember, and it's easy to say. So it helps.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you for that, Lisa. So, what has the band been up to, especially over the last 12 months or so?
Going through a lot of band members. One in, one out. Yeah.
Do you want to say, Finn? We've been bobbing.
Yeah, I suppose we've just gone through a lot of bass players and a lot of stop-start. A few gigs in between a lot of rehearsing and trying to build up a decent set list. But then it just got to the point where we just thought, let's try and become a three-piece. So, Gordon took a big leap of faith and managed to pull up.
Massive leap of faith.
It was hard to find a bass player in Aberdeen that wasn't in three bands. There's just a shortage of them. So we couldn't book. We get gig offers, we couldn't take them because the bass players got a gig with his other band or other band. And Gordon just came in one day and says, I'm going to do it. I can play the bass and sing. That we were trying to get him to do for years, but he just seemed to click with him one day, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to.
Sorry.
I was. Be quiet, will you? I was trying on and off for years to try and sing and play at the same time, but I just couldn't do it. So it was quite frustrating, because I wanted to do it, and I think it was a case of the right moment. It just felt like this is the right time to do it, and it just all came together finally. Because initially we were a 5-piece. And then it dwindled down to 4, and then 3, and we just had enough trying to find somebody else. It was just not working for us, So, but right, let's just go for it. Once I managed to learn one song, that was it. I got my confidence. I could do it. Not that I'm saying it's perfect, but I mean it's getting there.
You even convinced me to start singing.
Yeah. Alan, I've been trying to get Alan to sing for like 10 years, It's quite an achievement.
I always said the lead guitarist has enough to do.
Cool. So, have you been releasing any singles recently, or have you been recording and releasing singles, or are you planning on doing an EP or album?
Yep, and we didn't answer your last question properly. We have been playing gigs. we played in Metal to the Masses in Fraserburgh recently, and like Finn said, we getting up to speed with some band members and then losing them and having to start again. But in the meantime, we have been releasing singles. We've released 4 so far. The last one was Fallen Angel. Before that was I Know Where You've Been Running From, then Temptation and The Silence. And they're all on Spotify and iTunes and all those platforms. And we just signed up at Reaction Management, and we're fairly new to it now, and they're just getting going. We've a new song coming up to be released in March called Rock the Night Away.
Yeah.
And
27th of March.
27th of March, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else important?
Yeah, we're actually working on a new album, which we're going to be releasing this year. So we've done a few songs in the studio already, so it's sounding good. So
yeah, it'll probably be this year.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Yeah,
it will be.
This year. We've 3 done, and we've 2 ready to record, and working on more.
Yeah.
But we have previously recorded an album, probably about six years ago. But then we had a couple of of us had a couple of kids. We took some time out and done nothing over COVID for a year or 2, and then got Hot Blooded Reptiles together and started playing and gigging. So we had an album, but we never got to we get a band together and get gigging until 2 years ago. So.
You see, the issue we had was when we recorded the first album, we hadn't actually played any of the tracks live. So when we eventually got a band together, it was like, okay, how do we actually play this stuff live, you know? Because that's when you realise playing the songs live is completely different from just going in the studio and recording stuff, you know, because it's all layered up and everything, you know? So with this album, we've learned from that mistake. So these songs we're actually playing live before we actually go in the studio, so we know we can actually do them. So it's much better. I wouldn't recommend doing it the other way. Like,
yeah. Plus, like playing the songs live prior to going into the studio, you sort of like get to know exactly how you sort of like can like say, oh, this bit here can work in the studio as well live, and then you can say, oh yeah, we can do this little bit here, and sort of like narrow it a little bit more.
Yeah.
Plus you can get like the audience reaction to the songs, which works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
True. And we have chopped and changed new songs as we're playing them live. We've cut them. We've cut some of the old songs, you know, as well.
Yeah, that was the thing, because it was our first album me and Alan had ever done. The previous one, that is, we tried to pour everything into it, and we ended up putting too much into it. So the songs were like just way too long, and it wasn't until we started playing them live we were like, oh wait a minute, we need to cut these songs because they're just too long. You know, we don't need this bit, we don't need this bit. You know, and it was a learning process for us. So plus also we sent the songs into the BBC, and they basically told us, your songs are way too long, guys. 3 minutes, please, you know. So we cut them quite drastically for radio play. So we burn things that got all in mind, you know. It's a thing we've learned to try and keep things a little bit shorter. Also, as well, because when you're playing to a new audience, a song they've never heard before, trying to keep their attention for 5 minutes is, you know, it's quite an ask, you know. It's not easy to do that for 3 minutes, never mind 5 or 6, you know.
Yeah, me personally, I do like a good song which is like 6-7 minutes, even to an hour long songs.
Yeah, it's good. What I mean, I can listen to that as well, but it's just not everybody can. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah. I like Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin too. I could listen to them songs as well.
Yeah, some of the biggest songs in the world or 6 minutes or longer. Yeah,
Mm.
because typically Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody, that's 6 minutes
Mm.
long. Battle of Hell by Meatloaf, that's 9 minutes long.
Uh-huh.
Some of our
Yeah.
songs are going to be long. Like Love It Hurts is going to be long, but we'll do a radio version because it's like a ballad and we need the whole lot, but other ones are 3 minutes.
Cool. Could you tell us about the new single that's coming out at the end of March?
Yeah, it's called "Rock the Night Away." It's kind of like a rock anthem. That's kind of the idea we're kind of going for. It's got some nice backing vocals as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we recorded it in January, and yeah, it's finished. We finally got it finished, and it's ready to go. So we're just waiting for the official date on the 27th of March.
Yeah, it's going to be a press release and a PR on the 13th of March, if I'm right, from Reaction Management as well.
Cool. The album that you are planning on doing, have you got any sort of like idea on how many songs it's going to be on?
It'll be 10 to 12, I think, roughly.
Yeah, at least 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always disappointed if an album has less than 10 songs. I want my money's worth,
Yeah, usually have anything between 8 and 12 songs on an album, usually. So,
Yeah.
so have you got any plans on releasing any new merchandise such as T-shirts?
Well, that's not something we've looked at yet, actually. We have looked at just people who will do it for us, but we have to talk about that, actually, because like we're wearing a couple now. We got some testers made, all right, so we haven't actually got any yet. And Ben was saying we should get some CDs, for gigs, because it seems bands do actually make money, that would pay expenses for them from it. So it would be stupid not to.
Yeah, usually when bands, what I've noticed anywhere, when they're doing their gigs, is they sell the merchandise, which goes on to like getting the bands to the next gig.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, something we should look at doing.
I definitely should, because like we've been just playing around Aberdeen. Really, we've played up in Lossiemouth and where else? But look, we've got gigs now, booked down in Edinburgh and Paisley. We're playing the HMV in Glasgow as well. I think so. Now that things are moving for us, but the gigs are starting to pop up. So that's something that we'll have to have a good look at.
Cool. So if there is enough interest, would you sort of like possibly put out vinyl for the new record?
I had you talking about that before, Phil.
Possibly. I mean, yeah. I guess if it was worth doing, it'd be nice, wouldn't it? I think.
I think you've got to be open to anything, really. You
Yeah.
know? I think so. Why not?
Yeah, definitely, why not? Yeah.
Cool. Is there any plans on doing a tour around Scotland or doing a tour around UK at some point in the future?
Would love to. Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, it always feels like we're at the beginning, Maybe we just joined Reaction Management at the beginning of February, and they're putting things in place. Like, and they have a lot of bands who are touring, and they've lots of support slots coming up. So we'll definitely be open to it. And, fingers crossed. We applied to a lot of festivals. So, we'd really, really like to do some festivals and get on that kind of circuit. But definitely, like we all have jobs in that as well. So, now we're looking at, because, up in the north of Scotland, there's not that much. We have to go down to the central belt, down to Glasgow and Edinburgh. We're starting to do that now. There's a lot more venues with music 7 nights a week and that kind of thing down there. So we'll be kind of doing little tours, hopefully, over the next few months. Going down, do one gig, maybe do two. And you never know. Fingers crossed it might happen.
Yeah, it's on the to-do list.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We've had our songs on a few radio stations. One is Amazing Radio, and we get a lot of good feedback from it. We started putting songs on around, was it October, November? Put a song on, put The Silence on. Next month we put another song on. We put one on each month, and even every week they still play our songs about 10 times on their British site and their UK one, and their USA one. So they're still playing us sometimes 10, 12 times a week on both, like all 4 songs that seem to have regular slots on their show. And we do get lots of good feedback. We had a review from some company there a couple of weeks ago. They done a review for one of our songs, but I sent them a Spotify link and they came back and they done 3. And we've been getting lots of encouragement and really on good reviews. So hopefully, I think we're aiming at now is more live shows.
Cool.
And hopefully build up some momentum and maybe a fan base.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, let's say for instance, everything is aligned, everything is in place. You got the financial backing, you got quite a big fan base. Would you consider going to tour in, say, Europe or over into Canada, or into going down into the US or over into Australia? Do you do like a full-blown tour?
I'll go anywhere.
Yeah. We did say let's just go for it and see what happens. And my work's very flexible, so I would go for it. If the opportunity arises, I will definitely just go for it.
Yeah. I mean, because why not?
Yeah, I would spend the rest of my life regretting it, so I can't let that happen.
If the opportunity is there, you should just take it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have an understanding family. They know if it happened, they would encourage me to go.
That's because they want rid of you, Alan.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. Yeah.
Just send home the checks.
Yeah. They want to live in Florida or California.
Yeah. Yeah. So, where can people find you on social media so they can keep up to date?
Yeah. Well, we are on TikTok, Instagram, X, Spotify, SoundCloud, Hot Blooded Reptiles. I think that's everywhere. Oh, Facebook. Yeah, Facebook.
I'm sure there's more. We've been trying to keep up with them all. It's a lot of them seem to be sliding off. People aren't using them. Probably like X. I'm not so sure. How many people use that so much now? Did we miss anything?
No, I think that's about it, really.
Reverb Nation.
Yeah.
That's another one.
Cool. I don't think many people use that now, Reverb Nation.
Not that many. I still get people, new fans and that. It was probably about 7 or 8 years ago when I started on there. Still get messages.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, guys in the chat, if you've got any more questions, please ask away. We're going to be starting to wrap things up in about 5-10 minutes or so. So get your questions in now. any advice for people who want to become a musician?
If you want,
Yeah,
just get out, just get out there and do it. You know?
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, go look up all the sites, look for people looking for band members, and just go, keep going. If the first one's not right, go to the second one, because eventually you'll find the right people.
Yeah, what have you got to lose? You know?
That's it. No point in being shy.
True, true.
You never know who you're going to meet, you know. All kinds of characters.
True. Yeah. So we're going to start wrapping things up. So have you got any final words before we sign off?
Yeah, listen to the Hot Blooded Reptiles.
Yeah.
Check us out on Instagram and TikTok and everything. And we're going to have a new release next month, like we say, March 27th. A new single, Rock the Night Away, and a few other surprises. So yeah, just keep in touch with the socials, and we'll keep them updated. Watch this space and keep on rocking.
Definitely. So guys in the chat, I'll put the links down in the description. So if you want to check Hot Blooded Reptiles, please do. These guys are absolutely great, brilliant. So I would highly recommend you go follow these guys. So guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a total pleasure.
Thank you for
having
having us. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, pleasure. So guys, until next time, we'll catch you all